Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm so glad that you're all here with us on this, well, for at least those of us in the Northwest and around Salem, a nice, magical, rainy Saturday morning. I hope you're enjoying a little bit of the rain. There's sun on the horizon, so it's coming. I'm Mikki, for those of you that have not practiced with us before. And good morning, Pam. Good morning, Neil. And this is going to be just a really mellow, feel good Saturday movement and opportunity to breathe class. So we've got about 60 minutes of movement and breath. And I just want you to do exactly what you need to do this morning in terms of a feel good practice for you. Everything I'm going to suggest is optional. If you do part of it and then want to do some of your own movement and stretching, or if you just want to listen to my voice, I don't know why you'd want to do that, and lay on your mat and breathe, also a great option. This is your time and space to check in with yourself, to reconnect with yourself. And sometimes we need a bunch of movement to make that happen, and sometimes we need a little bit less. So do what you need, leave the rest. We're going to get started on our backs today. Hi, Wendy. Glad you're here. If at any point there's some technology problems with sound or whatever during class, just feel free to put it in the chat feature so I know. Good morning, Mom. And as you come down onto your back, we're going to bend the knees, place the feet on the ground. And let's just let the arms come to the side for now. Let's keep the knees separate so the feet and the knees are about as wide as your hips. And let's roll up onto the balls of the feet and the tippy toes for a moment here. Let the heels lift. And then let the heels drop toward the ground. Let the tippy toes lift. And let's do that a couple times, getting down into our feet on this Saturday morning. Go to the toes, heels lift. And then let those heels touch the earth. Let the toes lift. Let's just do that one more time. Rolling to the toes. And rolling to the heels. And then allow the feet to flatten out, an even connection of heels and toes. And maybe you press down to the balls of the feet and actually feel all of your toes spread out, almost like you're putting a little pedicure separator in there. And let's keep your left foot touching the ground as it is. And we're just going to take your right leg, ankle on thigh, and let that right knee fall open. So you've got right ankle on left thigh and the right knee falling open. You're welcome to close your eyes here. Let's breathe really easily and fully into this shape. Allow there to be a sense of lingering and slowing down here. No rush, no force. Just let the air move in and let the air move out. Allowing this practice this morning to be an opportunity to give yourself some time and to give yourself some breath. I don't know about you, but in my own experience, the things that I tend to stress over and worry about or kind of beat into the ground trying to solve usually feel better and turn out better when I give them some time, I give them some space, I give them some breath. So whatever this morning feels unsettled for you, feels anxiety provoking or stressful or worrisome, you don't even have to necessarily be able to name it. Just whatever feels that sort of ungrounded, unsettled way, I invite you to set it aside, to lay it down, and to give that part of yourself and the rest of yourself some time, and to give it some breath. You're invited to stay here if this is nice, or we're going to take our hands to the tops of your thighs. So left hand on the top of the left thigh, right hand on the inner top right thigh, and you're going to push directly away from you. A little decompression for the low back, the low spine, and the belly. And let's take a couple slightly fuller breaths down to your belly and your low back. Just feel that space as you breathe in. Feel that space as you breathe out. watching as things release and maybe soften, or just find some extra space as you give it some time and some breath here. This is really nice for your low back. You're invited to stay. If you want something a little different, we're going to release the hands and start to bring your left thigh in toward the belly. So it'll bring that whole figure four, number four shape in towards you. We'll reach through the gateway of your legs and grab onto the left thigh or the left shin. Either is great. Just find the one that gives you just the right amount of release in that outer right hip, allows the low back to be really grounded, and ideally your head and shoulders on the floor. And again, you might choose to stay here. Everybody's body and inner space is so different, giving yourself exactly what you need today. If you want something a little different, let's take our hands and just support the right foot and the right knee. Try not to turn the leg at all or manipulate it, just hold it. And let's release your left leg to the ground, either the foot on the floor with the knee bent, or some of you that left leg all the way out to straight. So it's like pigeon pose for those of you that are familiar, but on your back. So you have 50 shades of hip opening to get started with on this Saturday morning. And I want you to pick the one that's just right for you. And again, give it some time and give it some breath. Try not to force. Try to allow things to develop and blossom through that space, that time, through the breath. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath wherever you're at. And then from wherever you're at, let's bring your left foot back to the ground with the knee bent and your right foot back to the ground. Feet hip width apart, both knees bent. Let's keep the feet really rooted there. Take your arms up overhead. Big long stretch through your fingertips. And then let's do that second side, left ankle, right thigh. Just let the knee fall open. A couple breaths here, letting the legs just simply soften into the shape. If it feels nice to have your arms up overhead, keep them there. If they were happier down by your sides, let them settle down. Giving yourself permission to be really easy here with yourself. Nothing to prove this morning, nothing to accomplish, nothing to solve. You're invited to stay here. Or we'll start with the decompression option. Left hand to upper inner left thigh, right hand to the top of the right thigh, and gently push away to start. And then over time, it might become a little less gentle. You can put a lot of force into this. If it feels nice, creating a little extra space in the low back. I also feel this like opening up my abdomen a little bit. Stay there if that's the right option for you this morning, or start to bring the legs in for what we call thread the needle. Right leg comes in, we'll reach through, hold on to right thigh or right shin. Again, picking the one that allows you to stay pretty rooted into the ground. The head, the shoulders, the low back, all heavy on the floor, and gives you just that right amount of stretch in the outer left hip. And then one final option for you, stay where you're at, or supporting and holding that left low leg. Let the right foot come to the ground with the knee bent or the leg straight. And as I give options today in class, try not to think of them as a ladder or progressively harder or better or more advanced. just all purely different options, ways to experience the same work or the same release that we're trying to create. Just simply different approaches to that. Two more breaths wherever you're at. And from wherever you are, right foot to the ground, left foot to the ground, 2 knees bent, 2 feet rooted, hands up overhead, get long. And then let's bring both knees into your chest. And we're going to start to rock up and down your spine, front to back. And we're going to make our way up and over into table, any way that it works for you to get there. So you can use momentum, or you can sort of just crawl on over. As you come into table, we'll set up with your wrists below your shoulders and knees below your hips. And let's start with a little lateral side to side movement this morning. So we'll take right ear and right hip toward each other, and then left ear and left hip toward each other. So for some reason, when we do this, the head and the hips want to move in opposition, but try to bring them together. So left ear, left hip, and then right ear, right hip. So one side of your waist is really shortening as the other side is lengthening. And then when you're ready, we'll shift to the more traditional front to back movement here. Inhale, belly down, head and heart up, cow pose. And then exhale, round your spine, head falls forward for cat. So similarly to the side to side movement, where one side of your body was shortening and one was lengthening, in this movement, you've got the front of the body shortening as you come into cat, backside is lengthening. And then as you come into cow, the front side is lengthening and the back side is shortening. How about 2 more breaths here? Just feeling that dance between the sides of the body as one side lengthens and the other engages. And then in the next round of breath or 2, let's find table pose, which is intended to be the shape where the body is evenly long, front and back, in terms of your spine, and left to right in terms of the sides of your waist. And just feel that attempt at symmetry. And let's keep your left leg where it's at. Take your right leg back. Reach, put the toes on the ground. Reach back through the heel. Again, checking in with the 2 sides of your waist, the front and the back of your body. Option to stay here, or let's roll to the big toe side of that right foot. Toes pulled or turned toward the right. You can stay here, or let's take your right hand up toward the sky. Little modified side plank to get you started on Saturday. So let's start here with that, again, awareness of the 2 sides of your body, left to right, the 2 sides front and back. And then we're going to start to take the right arm and reach it forward. And I want you to allow the right side to elongate, but without losing too much space in the left side. So let those right ribs puff up just a little bit, which will naturally shorten the left side of your body. But can you also keep some space in that left waist? One more big breath wherever you're at. We'll let the right hand come back down, and then your right knee comes underneath your right hip. Inhale, cow pose. And as you exhale into cat, let's press your hips all the way back towards your heels and find just a couple breaths of child's pose. Forehead to the floor, or if the forehead doesn't settle on the ground, you're always invited to stack your hands and let your forehead rest on the hands. One more full breath here. I just want this pose to be invited and kind of introduced. How about that to your body this morning so that you know that it's here if you need it. And then we'll come back up into table, finding that even and equal amount of length, left and right, front to back. Left leg stretches back, toes on the ground, press back through the heel. Option to stay here. Option to roll to the big toe side of that left foot, toes turned toward the left. You can stay here or come on up, left hand to the sky. Starting here with that awareness of the two sides of the waist and doing your best to keep them evenly long. The same with the front and the back of your spine. And then maintaining space on that right waist, let's take your left arm, reach it forward. Allow those left ribs to puff up a little bit, but try not to just completely shorten and lose space on the right side of the ribs. One more full breath here. And then left hand will come down below your left shoulder, left knee below the left hip. Inhale, one last cow pose. Let's tuck your toes under, take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Anytime we're in down dog this morning, table pose or child's pose are fantastic options to replace the shape with if it's not your jam today. And as you settle in, let's give our tail a little wag. You could be a young, energetic puppy dog or a little slower, maybe senior dog with a slower tail wag. And then let's pedal out the legs, kind of walking in place a little bit. So bend one knee and then the other. Let the head be super heavy. And then let's straighten both legs. And as you inhale, we're going to roll forward to plank pose, top of a push-up. And then exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. It's a low commitment plank pose. A couple rounds. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. And allow this dynamic movement forward and back to begin to wake up your legs. Can you feel the power of your legs driving you forward to plank as you inhale? The power of your legs pulling you back to downward facing dog as you exhale. How about two more here? You're always welcome to just stay in down dog, or some of you could be holding in plank if you'd prefer. One more time. Roll it forward and pull it back. And as you find down dog this time, let's take a stroll to the front of the mat. As many steps as it feels good to take to get your feet to your hands. Give those knees a generous bend, and let's fold the arms, the head, the spine over your legs. Your arms might just gather on the ground. You might also wrap your arms around the back of your legs and just kind of give your legs a hug here. Feel the heaviness of your head at the bottom of the spine. And then let's bend your knees a little bit more. Keep the head really heavy. Let those arms drape. And let's roll the body up inch by inch by inch. All the way to standing. And at the top there, let's take a couple big shrugs of the shoulders. Kind of like your good morning Tadasana, mountain pose. And let's take your hands to the sky. Feel your feet root down. Let those hands reach up. And just stretch it out as long as possible. Like you're getting out of bed for the first time and you're taking your big good morning stretch. And then let the palms join together overhead and exhale, hands down into your heart. Let the gaze drop toward the fingertips or toward the ground. Big full inhale here. And full complete exhale. Let's let your weight shift forward onto the balls of the feet, heels lift. And then let those heels come down and just shift back. Not enough that you're going to fall, just enough that you kind of have to feel the catch. And then rock forward and back. One more time, forward. And this time as you start to rock back into those heels, let's bend your knees, hands to the sky, chair pose. That was a sneak attack of chair pose, and you're welcome for that. Feel the hips get heavy. Feel the fingertips reach up. It's the same shape we were doing on our back with the knees bent, feet on the floor, arms overhead. And then exhale, let's fold over your legs. Let your fingertips slide up the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, bow forward. Rooting into your feet. Inhale, let's reach up. Coming all the way back up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart. Feeling the elongation in each movement and each breath. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, chair pose. Stay for your inhale. Feel the length from the tailbone through the fingertips. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to start like that one more time, but we'll add on. Inhale, we'll reach. Exhale, chair. We're going to try to beat Jamie's count of 14 chair poses this morning. I'm kidding, we're not. Inhale, get long. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. And as you fold, right leg stays, left leg steps back. We'll set your feet hip width apart, back heel off the ground if that's okay. And let's rise up, crescent lunge. Just a couple breaths here. Give it breath. Give it time. Settle in and watch as the pose evolves. Watch as your space and your focus evolves. One more breath here. At the end of the exhale, we'll bring your hands down around your front foot. And any way that works for you, downward facing dog. It does not need to be graceful. If this is the place for you to be, you stay. If you want to keep moving, inhale, plank. Let's take the knees to the floor, at least for this first round. Point your elbows straight back as you lower chaturanga, all the way to the belly. Untuck your toes. Press into the feet, pull back on your hands, baby cobra. Couple breaths here. Feel the spine get longer. Sort of like your cow pose. The front side of your body is lengthening here. The back side of the body is engaged in shortening. But can you continue to keep length and space and breath in the back side of your body? And then slowly lower the forehead toward the ground. Press into hands and knees, come on up, table. And downward facing dog. If it works for you, left leg goes up and back. And foot between your hands. Again, we'll come on up into your crescent lunge and settle for a few breaths. Anytime our hands are overhead today, if you'd rather have them at your heart or on your hips, those are great options. Without any force or rush, just let the breath move in and let the breath move out. One more inhale here. As you exhale, hands come down around your front foot. We'll step your right foot forward to meet your left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Lingering for an inhale. Lingering for an exhale. Inhale, reaching. And exhale, chair. Stay for your inhale to create length. And then bow over the legs, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold, left foot stays, right leg steps back. We'll come up again into your lunge. And then we'll open up into warrior two. So we're going to drop your back heel and open your shoulders toward the long edge of your mat. Front knee and front toes are pointing forward. There should be a sense of lengthening in the inner left thigh. And let's take a couple breaths here to settle in. An awareness as you breathe again of the left and the right waist. Can they feel even? And the front and the back of your spine. Can they feel evenly long, evenly spacious? One more inhale here. And as you exhale, hands come down around the front foot, back heel lifts. And we're going to make your way back into downward facing dog. Just like last time, you have the invitation to stay. Remember that cat-cow, table, and child's pose are all good replacements for down dog. If you want to keep moving, inhale, plank. Knees up or down, chaturanga. And we'll bring it into your baby cobra again. Just keep it low. The hands are pulling back, but they should be able to lift and give virtual high fives at any point. Maybe actually high-fiving somebody that's nearby. It can be a fur child. They might not understand though. Exhale, bring it down. Come on up, table or plank. And downward facing dog. If it feels nice in your body this morning, right leg lifts and foot between your hands. We'll rise to your crescent lunge. And then open up, warrior two. So again, for those of you that are newer to the warrior poses, your right knee, right toes are pointing forward. Your waist and shoulders are rotating to open toward the long edge of your mat. If you want to give your eyes somewhere to settle upon, let them settle on that front middle finger. Notice and breathe into the four sides of your waist, four sides of your torso. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, the next time hands come down, back heel lifts. We'll step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reaching toward the sky. Feel yourself grow longer. And then keep that length as you sit back into chair. We're going to bring your hands down onto your hips. Elbows can just point out to the side. And let's shift into your right foot. Hover your left foot just an inch off the ground. So trying to move your hips as little as possible. We're going to take your left foot a few inches forward and a few inches back. So try not to let things swing. Hips and pelvis stay steady. Left leg goes forward. Left leg goes back. Some really good hip stability work. Obviously some balance work. Little forward. Little back. And let's go forward one more time. And then as that leg goes back, let it continue going back, continue going back. And as slowly as you can, step it back into your lunge. Big reach up toward the ceiling. Press back through your back heel a tiny bit more. And then again, we'll drop your back heel, open up, warrior two. Let's keep that front knee bent. Take your left hand down the back leg. Right hand's going to reach up and back. An elongation for that right side of the waist. But again, can you keep some space in the left waist as you elongate the right waist? So that as we add space and room in one part of the body, we're not just completely losing space in another. And then let's come up and over, bring your right elbow to the right thigh. Left arm is going to reach forward alongside the left ear. Palm will be facing down. If that's too much on the shoulder, hand can be up to the sky. And if it's still too much, hand can come on down to the hip. Few breaths here. Again, noticing and feeling your torso, the four sides, if you will, front, back, left, right. Can you add any more space anywhere? Those of you that are happy here, stay. If you want something a little different, maybe the right hand comes to the ground. Those of you that want a little more core work, maybe your right arm reaches forward. But notice as you do that, if you kind of lose space somewhere, can you take that additional add-on but maintain your space? And let's bring it back up. Warrior two. Hands are going to come to hips, elbows bent. We'll straighten your front leg, turn the right toes toward the left side of the mat, feet are parallel. Root down into your feet. And just like your torso, can you have connection on all four sides, front, back, left, right. Heart up, shoulders back. And then exhale, let's start to lengthen and fold forward. When it makes sense for your body, let the hands come to the ground. If you want to keep them on hips, that's always a good option. And let the head be really heavy here. You're invited to stay if this is nice. Or let's start to walk your hands toward the left leg any amount. And you can bend that left knee. Right leg stays nice and straight. And I want you to try to get your hips to drop and lengthen back. So instead of kind of being peaked up, that left thigh is getting close to parallel to the ground. Hips are pulling back behind you. And then we'll take your hands, walk them to the right. Same thing. Right knee bends, left leg straightens. Back to that left leg. Notice the two sides of your waist. And then we're going to take it now all the way to that right foot. And we're going to let all 10 toes spin forward. So you're facing the front of the mat again. Hands will find the floor. And let's make your way back into downward facing dog. You're invited to stay here or inhale. Let's come forward to plank. Let's drop your left knee to the floor, right below the hip. You've been here before. We did this early on in practice. Come to the big toe side of your right foot, and let's roll onto your left shin, right hand to the sky. Stay here if you'd like, or take that right arm and reach it forward. Right hand back to the floor. And let's take it back to plank. If you want the vinyasa, take it, or we'll meet you in downward facing dog. As you find your down dog, let's settle 2 more breaths here. And then we'll make our journey to the top of the mat. So you might hop or walk or step. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's rise up, adding as much length to yourself as you can. And then exhale, bend the knees, sit back chair. Hands to your hips, elbows bent out to the sides. We're going to shift into your left foot, right foot will hover. And again, we'll take that little swing forward and back, trying to minimize how much your hips and your low back move. Give yourself some time here. Give yourself some breath. And then one of the times the leg heads back, just keep letting it head back until you're in your lunge. Hands to the sky, bend into that front knee, press back through your back heel. And then let's open it up. Warrior two. Pausing to feel the space. left to right, front to back. And then do your best to maintain that space as you lean back, reverse warrior, right hand on the back leg, left hand going up and back. By its nature, that left side of your waist will be elongated, but how much space can you keep in the right side of your waist as well? And then we'll come on up and over, left elbow, left thigh, right hand to the sky to start. And then we'll sweep that right arm forward, turning the palm toward the floor. Now, if that feels nice, you stay with that. If it doesn't, the hand could return to the ceiling or come down to the hip. Feeling your breath front to back, side to side, allowing the breath to tell you where you've lost space. Stay here if you'd like. If you want something a little bit different, left hand comes down or left hand goes forward, up to you. And from wherever you're at, we'll make your way back up. Warrior two, arms parallel to the ground. Hands are coming to hips once again. We'll parallel your feet. Root down into those feet, strong, long legs, heart lifts, maybe gaze up a little bit. And then with those strong, long legs, let's fold forward. When it makes sense to bring your hands to the ground, let them come to the ground. Invite as much release here as possible. Just feeling the heaviness of your head at the bottom of your spine, creating space. And we're going to start to walk your hands, if it makes sense in your body, toward the right foot. We'll bend that right knee any amount. Again, let the hips go back and down. We'll do the same thing to the left. We'll go back to the right one more time. Feel the two sides of your waist. Can you create more space anywhere? And then we'll take the hands toward the left foot, all 10 toes turn forward, and let's step back into your downward facing dog. You are invited to stay here or inhale plank. Right knee to the floor. Come on to the big toe side of that left foot, left hand to the sky. Stay here or reach that left arm forward. We'll bring that left hand back down. Bring yourself back into plank. Take the vinyasa if you'd like it, or head to downward facing dog. We'll all meet up in downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, as you inhale, let's bend your knees, lift your heels, look forward, and exhale, walk, step, or hop. Top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. And let's pause there for a moment. As the hands go up, feel the feet root down. Let's maybe close your eyes and feel where the weight is in your feet. Feel the connection, heels, balls of feet and toes. Can your toes spread out a little bit? Feel the connection left to right. And then let's bring your hands down to your heart, blink the eyes open. We're going to shift into your right foot, left knee's coming up. Left knee's turning out toward the side if that makes sense in your balance this morning. And you can place the foot for tree pose on the thigh, calf, or ankle, or even a little kickstand if that feels nice. Wherever you're at, I want you to breathe into and feel the two sides of your waist. Can there be any more space left to right? If you want to grow some branches, grow some branches. And then go ahead and turn that knee forward and let the foot come back down to the ground. If your hands are not to the sky, go ahead and take them to the sky now. Again, feel the rooting down, the lifting up. And then hands to heart. Weight into your left foot. Right knee comes up. Knee to the side. And foot places on thigh, calf, ankle, or kickstand for your tree. Breathing around the entirety of your torso. You want to still have that front to back balance, but we tend to, in this pose, lose a little length side to side, especially as that leg comes up higher. Can you keep even length left to right? Hands wherever you want them for your balance. Last 2 breaths here. Knee turns forward, foot to the floor, hands to the sky if they're not already. Bend your knees, keep as much length as you can. Start to sit back into your chair. Weight into that right foot. Left foot hovers an inch. Let's step it all the way back. Take your time. Just kind of hover it over the floor. Crescent lunge. Open up, warrior 2. Inhale, let's straighten the front leg, reach your hands to the sky. Exhale, bend the front knee, lower the arms. 2 more. Straighten, reach up. Bend and lower. 1 more time. Let's keep your arms where they're at. Straighten the front leg. Feel the length, the space in your torso, along your spine. And let's start to reach that right arm forward, maintaining length and space. Right hand to floor or shin, triangle pose, left hand to the sky. Option to stay here. Option to take that left arm, turn the palm forward, and reach your left arm alongside the left ear. Let that left arm be an extension of your back foot. Last 2 breaths wherever you're at. If you want something a little different, maybe that right arm goes forward for the last breath. Try not to lose space anywhere. Keep the breath steady. And then we'll bend the front knee, come back up, right into that reverse warrior. Hands come down around your front foot. And let's step back to plank. Couple steady breaths here. This is an option to stay here. You can bend the knees, put them on the ground if you'd like, or bring your big toes together. Heels toward the right, toes toward the left. Stay, or left hand to the sky. Just 1 breath. It's low commitment side plank. Back to plank. Heels to the left, toes to the right. Stay, or right hand to the sky. Back to plank vinyasa if you'd want it. Downward facing dog if you're like, whew, I'm good. From your downward facing dog, no rush. When you're ready, bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward, walk, step, or hop. Halfway lift. And fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, chair. Feel that length. Front to back, side to side. Weight into your left foot. Right foot hovers. All the way back with that right foot. Coming into your lunge. And let's open up. Warrior 2. Inhale, front leg straightens, hands reach up. Exhale, bend the knee, lower the arms. 2 more times there. Lengthen, reach, bend, and settle. 1 more. We'll keep the arms where they're at as that knee straightens. 1 more time. With a nod of space and length around your spine, with a nod to the breath, let's take that left arm forward. Maintain space wherever you can. Let that left hand come down to shin or ground. Right hand to the sky, triangle pose. You're invited to stay here or turn that right arm so that the palm faces forward. Bring that arm alongside the ear. Get long all the way from the back foot through those right fingertips. Where could there be a little bit more space for breath? You've got 2 more breaths here. Stay as you are, or left arm forward. Maintain and prioritize the breath. We'll bend the front knee, come up from wherever you're at, right into that reverse warrior. Hands around the front foot as you exhale, and let's step back, downward facing dog. So you know what's coming. We're going to do those side planks 1 more time. So if you're like, meh, I'm good, you stay. Or come forward to plank. You can stay here. Knees can come down. We've done the modified side planks a couple times in class. You're welcome to do those. Or toes together. Toes to the left, heels to the right. Keep the left hand down or lift it up. Back to plank. You can do anything for 1 breath. Heels to the left, toes to the right. Right hand to the sky. Back to center. Vinyasa if you'd want it. Down dog if you prefer. From your down dog, final journey forward to the front of the mat. Once you're there, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's come all the way up to standing. And hands to heart. So we're going to come into 1 final standing pose this morning. We don't always get to do this with a wall or with support in a large brewery or winery setting. But if you have a piece of furniture for figure 4 chair that you could potentially hold on to, it makes it a really nice release for the outer hip. So maybe a bookcase or your couch, a wall. I'm not going to do that because you'll get butt shot. But if you have something, go ahead and just relocate to it. We're going to bring right foot on the ground, left ankle onto right thigh above the knee, just like we did on our back as we got started. Let that knee open to the side. Let's bend the right knee. Hands can be at heart or reaching. And if you have a piece of furniture that you can put the hands on, what's really nice here is to get those arms straight. Let the hips pull back. Allow there to be a great sense of length from that left hip through the spine, through the arms. Notice the 2 sides of your waist, left to right. Notice the 2 sides, front to back. And then wherever you're at, we'll bring it back up. Release the foot to the ground. Give it a little shake. And let's do the other side. So freestanding for balance or holding on to something to give yourself some space to Enjoy it maybe a little bit more. Right ankle, left thigh. Right knee turning out to the side. We'll let your standing leg bend. Again, hands at heart or hands reaching, or if you're using some piece of furniture or a wall to explore and experience the shape a little differently, allow yourself to fold in a bit here. And whatever feels resistant or forced or tight, just give it some time. Give it some breath. Last full breath here. And then we'll rise up. Let the lifted foot come to the ground. If you left your mat, come on back to the mat. And any way that works for you, we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog. It might be a chance for one more vinyasa. It might be a chance for a cartwheel. A sip of coffee. And then from your down dog, let's bring your knees to the floor. And we'll come around onto your hips. Let the legs come out in front of you. So we'll start with the legs out in front, legs straight, toes toward the sky, heels pressing forward. And let's bring your hands out to the side, just beside your hips. So not behind you where you can lean back into them, but just out to the side to help you sit up nice and tall. Feel the thighs root down as the crown of the head lifts. You're welcome to close your eyes here. We're going to be here for a few breaths. Feel the front and the back of your spine. Feel the two sides, left to right. And then let's keep this space, let's keep this length, but start to slide your legs open into a V shape. Doesn't have to be super wide. It could be 1.5 feet of space between the feet, but just more than your hip width shape. And again, let's start at least with the hands beside the hips out to the side, sitting tall. And I want you to bring your mind back to one of the very first things we did in class, that decompression on the hips. You don't need to do it here, but can you feel almost like imaginary hands pressing down on your thighs to help them ground? And if you want to do it with your hands gently, you can. To me, that really points out if I'm leaning forward or tipping back, if I'm favoring one side or the other. So we've got hands beside us, hands decompressing. One other way to explore and experience the shape, hands on the floor, walking forward. Any of those are fantastic options. One is not better or more advanced than the other. It's just what you need this morning, what feels nice. And however you've chosen to explore and experience the shape this morning, give yourself the permission to linger here, to give yourself and your shape some time. Give yourself and the shape some breath. If you've tipped forward, let's slowly walk your hands back in. Let's help those legs come back together. So slide your hands under the knees one at a time. Help the knees bend, bring those legs back in. Let's go feet on the ground, knees bent, feet and knees hip width apart. Let's hold on to the backs of the thighs or the shins. Let's round our spine back like cat, bracing yourself with your hands on your legs. And then pull your hands onto the shins or the thighs, bring the belly toward the thighs, heart up, head up, sit tall. Let's do that 2 more times. Round back and lift up. Round back and lift up. And then this time as you round back, lowering yourself all the way down onto the ground. As you come onto your back, we'll bring the knees into the chest. Support the shins or the thighs in a way that allows the head and the shoulders to be really heavy. Let's move both of your hands over to your right leg and allow your left leg to release down onto the ground. A couple options here based on what you're feeling you need right now. So you might just hug that right knee in and allow the left leg to be heavy. Right knee stays bent. You might slide your hands onto the right hamstring and take your right foot up toward the sky. Both of those shapes could be done with your grounded leg bent or straight. And those of you that choose the hamstring stretch option with the leg straight, the hands might stay on the hamstring, or you might slide them higher up toward the foot. So many options. Just pick the one that allows you the space to breathe, to honor all 4 sides of your spine and your waist and your torso, this vessel in which you breathe into and out of. And then we'll go ahead and bend the right knee if it's straight, bring it back in to the chest. Let the left leg come in as well. And we'll switch your hands over onto the left leg. Let your right leg release. So you know the options now. Both legs could be bent or straight, just like recipes or ingredients in a recipe. As you shift things, it changes the experience, it changes the flavor. If that left leg has gone to straight, let's once again bend it. Let the right leg come in as well. And in some way that works in your body, let's hug the arms around the legs. Maybe it's actually a wrap of those arms like you're hugging yourself. Breathe really fully and completely in. Fully and completely out. One more breath here. Allow it to be a hug. You might even lift your chin toward your knees and pull yourself in a little tighter and a little closer. And then let it go. Legs releasing out onto the ground. Straight if that works for your low back, bent if that's better. Arms by your side or resting on your belly. Let's take a big inhale here. Feel everything fill up. And then a long, slow exhale. Feel everything release. Whatever it is that's still lingering, whatever it is that's keeping you from feeling settled, from keeping you from feeling at peace. Give it some time here. Give it some space. Give it some breath. Allow yourself to take rest. If you need some more time here, definitely stay and take it for yourself. Linger a little longer here. When you're ready to awaken once again into your Saturday morning and start to make your way into your weekend, let's deepen the breath. Big inhale. And linger in that exhale. Let all of that air go. And when you're ready, let's take the arms up overhead, reaching toward the back of your space. Just get super, super long. No rush, but when you're ready, you can bend the knees, place the feet onto the ground, eventually rolling to your side, and eventually coming up to a comfortable seat. Give it time. As you find your seat, let your palms come together in front of your heart. Taking a moment and an opportunity here to set your breath for the day ahead, the weekend ahead, all that comes next. And linking and weaving into that breath permission. Time and time again, give yourself the space that you need, the time that you need, the breath that you need to feel grounded, to feel settled, to feel clear. Taking all of the gifts that this practice gives to you with yourself as a blessing to you and to everyone you connect with. The light within me honors the light within each of you. Namaste. Thank you guys very, very much for practicing together today. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend ahead of you. A special cheers today to all of you who were with us this morning that we should have been in McMinnville practicing this morning at Sokolblosser for first yoga and wine retreat, which obviously isn't happening. So until that can happen again, I'm glad to be here with you. A couple notes about this week. So we've got class Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm teaching Monday. Seville's coming back and teaching on Wednesday, which I'm really excited for. And then I'll be back with you next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We are bringing back our drawings, our raffles and prizes this week. So that'll kick off again this week. We're buying another slew of gift cards from local businesses, and we'll be getting those out to you throughout classes. So join us and we'll tell you how to enter to win those. And if you would like to donate for class, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you notes, donations, whatever it is. The information to do that is in the description of this video. It's also on our website. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Howard and Wendy. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. Namaste, Lori. Thank you guys. I'm going to put the code or the link, excuse me. Words are hard this morning. I'm going to put the link for Zoom into the chat feature. It's also on our website. Thank you, Em. Oh, Rachel. So good to have you here with us. Thank you for the work you're doing. I'll put the Zoom link into the chat. Thank you, Larkin. Yay, Debbie. Thank you, Jennifer. If you want to join us there, come say hi. Come give us a little coffee cheers. If you need to head off into your day or just feel like being introverted this morning, that's great as well. I thought of that this morning too, Catherine. Would have been nice to have you there with us. Thank you, Neil. I agree. Thanks, Mom. Namaste. Thank you, Danny. I hope you get some sunshine this weekend. All right, there's the Zoom link. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Brooke. Yay. Thank you, Nicole. All right, guys, I'm going to hit end on the stream. Thank you so much. Happy Saturday. I will see you soon.